Hey everyone, welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today we're diving into episode 3 of 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. And boy, things are getting tense. If you've been following along, you know we've seen some serious developments and some jaw-dropping moments. So let's break it all down, from the characters' secrets to the shocking ending. Spoilers ahead, of course. In this episode, we get a deeper look at the survivors from the plane crash, their motivations, and the strange events unfolding around them. The episode kicks off with a flashback to Carlos's past, but before we dive into that, let's quickly refresh our memory on the key players.
With everything that's going on, I just need you to trust me, okay?
Carlos, Kevin, and Sonia, the survivors group. Carlos, the former luchador, is one of the most mysterious figures in the group. We've seen him be somewhat of a loner, sneaking food from the plane and working out late at night. In this episode, we also get a glimpse of his obsession with a past fight where he was defeated by the governor. It's clear that Carlos has a chip on his shoulder, and his actions suggest he's trying to hold on to something in his past. Whether it's his identity or his pride, we're not sure yet. Then there's Kevin, the former doctor turned business owner. He's been dealing with his own guilt over a past mistake, which led him to abandon medicine and start buying medical equipment from Guatemala. Now, he's out here, trying to survive with a group of strangers in the middle of the jungle. Kevin's not just skilled with medical knowledge, he's got a sharp mind, and he's also one of the few who's questioning the strange events happening around them. Sonia, the photographer, is another character who's keeping her cards close to her chest. She's sharp, observant, and a little paranoid. Throughout the episode, we see her investigate the others, trying to piece together what's going on, especially when she finds out that Carlos has been hoarding food from the plane. This is just one of many tensions that arise in the episode, but it sets the stage for even darker secrets.
He's dead. Where do you think he is? He's been killed.
Lisa, we don't know.
The ELT and the search for rescue. The big focus of the episode is the ELT, Emergency Locator Transmitter. The survivors know they need it to signal for help, but there's a lot going wrong in this scenario. Carlos has been working on fixing the ELT, and while he's working on that, Amy tries to talk to Lisa. This is where we get a deeper understanding of Lisa's grief over her husband's death and her suspicions that Travis was murdered due to his political views. It's a conversation that sets the tone for the mistrust that's brewing among the survivors. Carlos and his team make their way up the hill to plant the ELT antenna, hoping it will be their ticket out of there. Along the way, there's some tension between the group, especially when Sonia discovers Carlos has been sneaking food. It's not a big deal for Carlos, but for Sonia, this feels like another layer of betrayal. The tension only grows when the group reaches a particularly dangerous spot in the jungle, and Sonia nearly falls to her death while also risking the ELT. Thankfully, Carlos and Kevin manage to save her, but this moment foreshadows just how fragile their situation is.
Man,
I don't want you to talk about him.
I didn't kill him, Lisa.
Dan's growing aggression and Amy's discovery. Now, things take a darker turn as we start to see more of the toxic relationship between Amy and Dan. Amy, still struggling with the aftermath of the crash and her own trauma, begins to question Dan more and more. When she confronts him about his supposed book that he's writing, Dan reacts aggressively, which makes it clear that there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. We get hints of an abusive relationship, with Dan becoming more hostile and defensive as Amy digs into his past. Amy's suspicions grow when she takes a look at Dan's contact cards and notices something strange. She's convinced that he's hiding something, and when she brings it up to him, he brushes it off, promising to explain everything once they're safe. But the conversation takes a dark turn when Amy finds herself in a confrontation with Dan, only to realize she's not the only one being watched. She's also been seeing a mysterious hooded figure lurking around.
Thing about her!
I don't know anything about you either.
What do you need to know, Amy?
The death of Carlos. As the night falls, things take an even darker turn. While the group is gathered around the campfire, Sonia proposes that they move to a safer spot, closer to where the ELT has been planted. But, as usual, the group is divided, and they decide to stay put at the crash site. This is when the unthinkable happens. Carlos, in the middle of his late-night workout, is attacked and brutally killed by a hooded figure. The show doesn't reveal the killer right away, but the way it's set up makes us suspect that it could be anyone, maybe even Dan, considering his earlier aggressive behavior. Or it could be Sonia, who's been harboring anger over Carlos stealing food. Either way, the killer is still out there, and Carlos's death marks a pivotal turning point in the series.
Isn't there something else we should be looking for that matters maybe a little more than...
The ELT's failure and the search for Carlos. The next day, Kevin suggests they go check on the ELT to make sure it's still functioning, but when they get to the site, they discover that the antenna has been disconnected, likely by the same person who killed Carlos. This discovery deepens the mystery. Someone is actively sabotaging their attempts to be rescued, and we're starting to see just how deadly the stakes are. As the survivors search for Carlos, the group splits into pairs: Dan and Amy, Lisa and Kevin, and Zach and Sonia. Meanwhile, Zach and Sonia begin to dig through the wreckage of the plane, trying to find clues that might explain why someone would want to kill them all off. Their suspicions grow when they come across a video message from Octavio, who warned them that there are people out there who don't want news of the crash to get out. But despite all their searching, they find nothing that ties the mystery together. They realize they might be dealing with something much bigger than just a plane crash.
Didn't plan what she did to me. She's not some...
The shocking discovery of drugs. The real bombshell comes when Kevin, Sonia, and Zach discover something horrifying. While on their way to investigate Carlos's body, they notice vultures circling a spot in the jungle. Following the trail, they find Carlos's lifeless body, and what they find next will change everything. Hidden within the wreckage of the plane, they discover millions of dollars worth of drugs. This is the key to everything. In the previous episodes, we speculated that the plane might have been transporting something illegal, and now we know what that something is: drugs. This explains why people are being killed off. Whoever's behind this crash doesn't want anyone to find out about the cargo. The question now is, who's behind all this? Is it one of the survivors, or is it someone else entirely? Given that the group isn't exactly financially stable, it makes sense that the discovery of the drugs could lead to even more violence. The survivors will likely want a piece of the pie, and that could be the motive for the murders we've seen so far.
Tell you everything you want to know, okay? But right now,
Theories and what's next. As we wrap up this episode, there are so many questions left unanswered. First off, could the killer be one of the survivors? Or is it an outsider with a hidden agenda? With Carlos dead and the ELT sabotaged, the survivors' chances of being rescued are getting slimmer by the minute. The fact that the drugs were stashed on the plane raises even more suspicions about the real motive behind the crash. And what about Cora and Emilio, who are monitoring the morgue in the present day? Could they be involved in trying to extract the drugs from the bodies before Lopez and Vega find out? It's all part of a bigger mystery that we'll have to wait to see unfold.
She attacked you.
no, she didn't know what she was doing.
Our nerdy thoughts. So to wrap things up, episode 3 of 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue has truly raised the stakes. With Carlos's death, the sabotage of the ELT, and the discovery of the drugs, we're entering uncharted territory. Who is killing off the survivors? And why? Is the killer one of them? Or is there someone else hiding in the jungle? We'll have to wait until next week's episode to get more answers, but for now, things are looking more dangerous than ever. That's it for today's recap and analysis. What do you think of the latest episode? Do you have any theories about the killer or the drugs on the plane? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you next time.
Now what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.